Καλημέρα σας. Να συνεχίσουμε την...
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let us proceed with Mrs. Kapsali, who is a professional liaison of Leche International. Before shifting to her presentation, however, I'd like to share a few words with you. My name is Sbiraki Anastasia. I'm a nurse. I'd like to thank the organizing committee for the invitation to participate in your conference. I represent the midwives of our hospital and the midwives in general. And I'd like to touch upon the important contribution of midwives in establishing breastfeeding, because we stand by the side of women from the very first moment, from birth and during the first days of their common life with their infants. Allow me to also touch upon an effort undertaken in our hospital through a series of lessons of preparation for parenthood. Seeing the participation of all midwives, we've seen that the results are very encouraging, and we also have noticed a very important participation attendance. Apart from being a midwife, I'm also a mother. I have breastfed myself, and it's been one of the most beautiful experiences in my life. And though I knew as a midwife what I should do, I had mothers next to me who further supported me. And so a supportive milieu is of paramount importance. This is what I had to say. Let us give the floor to Mrs. Kapsali now. Well, when I address the public, I sometimes wonder, what am I doing here? I'm a simple mother. Why am I using the microphone? Why am I addressing the public? We in Leche almost never use a microphone because it is quite uncomfortable. So if you notice any stress, please help me. And there are doctors here, luckily. So if something happens to me, please save me. So I wish I was not stressed. But anyway, I'll try to convey my messages as best as I can. I have been trying to coordinate and to combine my role of coordinator, and there is a CSD, a department, communications and skills department in Leche. This branch, this department is vital, and it organizes workshops and seminars to consultants, to liaisons. And this all has to do with communication skills. The seminars is divided into chapters, being able to trace our own emotions, the emotions of the mother. Then there is another chapter, of course, the body language is also important. How do we observe it? How do we interpret it? The second chapter has to do with the way we talk to the mother and the way we support the mother. And then there is a third chapter which has to do with self-improvement. We talk about our emotions, our feelings, conflict management, and so on and so forth. There is no such group in Greece, but it will be created quite soon. Let me now talk about the Accreditation department and the training department. When a candidate mother comes to us and says that wishes to be trained, well, most mothers usually say that they themselves have been supported by a Leche liaison, so they are already a member in a way, and have felt the need to train themselves in order for them to be able to support other women. So you do understand how this chain is created. One mother helps the other, and they all wish to become consultants, liaisons, or advisors. The prerequisites and the process are common at every level of preparation and at every branch in Greece. The CLA, the coordinator of leader accreditation, the CLAs meet occasionally. However, each one of us, depending on the area that we cover, also often have a more personalized touch. So the prerequisites, you know what they are. Mothers have to have breastfed. The objective is to be able to meet the needs of the child with compassion, with tenderness, and with proximity. And she also needs to be able to understand and accept the feelings and emotions of her child and of others. Here we are, and there you see a heart on the on my screen, and this is Vicky in the heart. Anyway, the three of us, we cooperate. Myself, Elisabeth, and Vicky, and the professional liaison or the professional liaisons, because every liaison is important in the preparation. Every one of us has to make their own contribution, because each one of us is a different person. And the teams also see the participation of many different people, and the thing we organize things is quite different at times, but the philosophy is common, and it is based on the 10 principles that Vicky touched upon earlier. Actually, Vicky read those principles, and those principles have been the result of hard work and lots of debates. Lots of detailed debates and exhaustive debates. We train people on breastfeeding issues, but I won't be talking about this today. So each candidate mother speaks to the leader liaison in charge, engages in role-playing, with different scenarios, different questions, either through the website, online, or with your physical presence. Then candidate mothers have to read specific books which have been enriched over the past years, over the past months, even more. There are specific books they need to read. So we have very specific rules that we follow. Moreover, the candidate, every time a stage is completed, a phase of training is completed, she has to write a report on that, because feedback is of the essence for us. Training, education, accreditation takes approximately 1 or 1.5 years, depending on the pace kept and followed by the mother, depending on her needs. And when the mother is ready, she starts undertaking, performing her tasks. She becomes operative and active. The profile of the liaison, this is what is needed for every candidate. We all are mothers who know about the problems of breastfeeding. We wish to encourage other mothers to feel this unique relationship and experience. We volunteer and offer timely information and support as mothers to mothers. We provide sources, not medical information, with the help of other professionals and physicians. And LLI recognizes how unique this connection is between a mother supporting another mother in trying to allow the mother to identify the needs of the baby and do the right thing for herself, her baby, and the family. We're here for every mother, regardless of the story, personal story, regardless of the race, the gender, religion, sexual orientation, origin, age, family status, physical or mental ability, socio-economic situation, or political beliefs. This is very important, and this is also a huge challenge because all groups are involved in our work, all groups with special characteristics, this is an all-inclusive task and approach, but everybody needs to share a common philosophy. That's the main prerequisite. When we are new liaisons or new members of a group, when we have breastfed and have our baby, we have this impetus, this thrust, this passion to convince everybody that breastfeeding is the best thing and that parenthood needs to be conducted with the right guidance. And we see that in many groups. We see some mothers who become a bit fanatic and they exceed the limits at times, and they tend to become even aggressive. Because our tenets, our beliefs are so strong, and sometimes they are confusing. They distance us. They create obstacles to real communication and obstruct compassion. The main way to overcome these obstacles and this challenge is respect. And as a good teacher, this is what I'm telling you. So we talk about things. So I have written respect with both capital and small letters, and so we talk about respect in the group. We create roles. We have a mother, for example, coming and saying, "Oh, wonderful! My husband and I won a trip, and we will be away for a year. What should we do with breastfeeding?" And we remain speechless. Another says, "Oh, are we talking about night sleep? The crying out is the best thing. My baby cried for like 4 to 5 days, and then he stopped." So you do understand how I feel about certain things. They are outrageous. But when you talk about certain things in several groups, liaison groups, and we've talked about them several times, when you talk about certain things and you talk about them and talk about them, certain things become less of a challenge. They become less of a problem, and it's easier to overcome such things and to find solutions. Once you achieve something like that and you remain calm, then you are able to focus on what you listen and hear from other women without identifying yourselves with them. Being able to listen, to not immediately react, to wait, to respect the silence of the people, to not assume. You should never assume. You should never be in a hurry to provide an answer. You have to be able to understand the feelings of the mother, the emotions of the mother, because every mother carries her own microcosm, her own world. So regardless of their choices, it is their choice to do what they do, and there is always an important reason behind every choice. So with the role playing, this is what we do. We have to prepare for difficult cases and situations, and we always do that, bearing in mind that our role is a role of a coordinator, because we're not leaders. We are liaisons, we are advisors, but we don't just provide advice. We are coordinating certain things. We are like counterparts, mothers to mothers. And what is most important is to allow a mother to feel part of our group. And this is how a mother will feel familiar and close enough to open up and receive support and then provide support. Why don't we advise or simply advise? We are interested to strengthen the wisdom of the mother deep inside her and the instinct of the mother. Help her understand that she knows what is proper to do. So we provide the timely and right advice, but then we understand what every mother does or did in order to enrich experiences. And then we say what La Leche League says they should do. But it's not just about providing advice and guidance. Because if the mother follows the guidance and finds a solution, then he will believe in La Leche and in the liaison, but she won't believe in herself. So we have to help mothers find their own solutions. If they follow the guidance and they don't find a solution, then they lose trust in LLL. So it's a bit of a complicated matter. When we offer advice, the right information, and then offer choices, then this is when the mother is informed properly, and together with the father, find the solution, the self-confidence is enhanced, and the LLA is trusted. If there is no solution, if she doesn't find a solution, she has the previous experience of a failed effort, and she may now follow some other choices or paths. So, how can a mother listen to what we have to say to her or to suggest? Because sometimes when we say to people, you should do that, they just don't listen. Children learn by doing things, by sharing things, when there is interaction. So, the more the mother feels that we are there next to her, by her side, the more she feels secure. We need to listen carefully in order to find the solution through her. She should be the one to discover the answer deep in her heart. So when we listen truly and carefully, this is when communication, real communication, is achieved. However, we've never been taught to listen. We've been taught to write and to talk and to take exams, but we haven't been taught and encouraged to listen. You know what? I always have our process every day during my lessons, because I'm a teacher. So I have a listening time. I have a listening time every day in my classes. When somebody tells us something, we listen carefully, and we seek for solutions, and we give the answers. We should do that, but we should focus on what the mothers really tell us. We should go deeper. We should listen very carefully, because sometimes mothers ask a question, but the real problem is a totally different one. And for us to be able to identify the problem and trace the problem, we need to be able to listen and understand. And I use my body language to show the mother that I'm always there by her side, listening to her. Such skills, Robert Bolton says, are the skills that we need in order to perform the art of listening. So, attending skills are important, following skills, and then the active listening. Why are we that much concerned about the body language? Because it is a silent reaction. I watch you and I am getting the feedback that you are following me. I see your eyes looking at me and I know that you're following me. This is the body language. And if the mother is standing before us, and we look at her at a certain time, and our body position is a specific one, then everything is easier. You see the liaisons here. You see how they stand, all at the same height. So we have to follow certain rules. The same height and eye contact are of paramount importance. So this is how we support. This is how an equal relationship is achieved, and by showing this kind of attention, the ultimate attention at that time, which means that when the toddler comes during our meetings and tries to attract the attention of the mother, toddlers come and they push the mothers and they want to breastfeed and so on and so forth. If you can't at that time, if you can't follow the mother carefully, then you have to defer the meeting. because this is conveying the message that this is what you want the mother to do, that you want the mother to listen to you carefully and to fully understand you and respect you. So the body language is something that we work on during our meetings, physical meetings, and during our phone calls. During the phone calls, we talk silently, we don't shout. My emails are never with capital letters or with many colors. And I always pay attention to some subtle details in the body language, which, like the double signals, as Arnold Mendel says, double signals. When I say hello to somebody and I look at him in the eyes, at him or her, there is another way to say hello. So my leg shifted towards the external part of my body. If you observe that, is what shows how we feel. That detail is what reveals how we feel. So we should be able to read the subtle double signals. If we have a mother who looks at us during the meeting like that, covering her mouth, for example, a mother who wishes to talk but covers her mouth, and so on and so forth. So you have to train yourself to be able to pay attention to such signals. So observation doesn't only improve communication, but also helps you understand yourself better. The active listening now. The liaison is the mirror of thoughts and feelings. Studies the eyes, the gestures, and the expression of the face, reiterates the word of the mother, tries to express the feelings of the mother, to put them into words, forgets about herself. It accompanies the mother, walks with her. The mother is now the protagonist. We're not going to talk, we shouldn't talk about our own experiences. We need to lay emphasis, rather to focus on the mother. And we try to accompany her through like exclamations or some words and some breaths. This is interaction. This is active listening. Putting into words her feelings. For example, we may trace a source of anger the mother is not aware of, and help her to try to understand, to become aware of certain things. Because when we trace and recognize our feelings, well, this is when the answers start to come to us. That's the beginning of everything. Sometimes mothers talk about doctors or midwives. We stop. We do not involve other people in our time with the mother. We focus only on what, on the now, on now. We only focus on the problem the mother has. We never criticize other people. We do not deal with certain factors or that have led to a certain situation. We focus on now. We need to be impartial. We need to be able to see, to listen, to be compassionate, to try to see through the eyes of the person, of the other person. The prerequisites for that is to know thyself, to accept thyself, and to be able to express thyself. So we need to work with ourselves to start with, because through the work we do with the mother and the candidate, we also work with ourselves and improve ourselves. We also love Rosenberg, listening through the heart or with the heart, and we love Brené Brown, who talks about acceptance of one's self, seeing through the eyes of the other, to not judge, to not criticize. We shouldn't say, for example, come on, there is worse in the world, or I totally understand what you mean because I have been through that. That's not the right way. So the training is a reciprocal process. We all learn, we all evolve. The LLLI family becomes a chain of friendship and mutual support from one mother to the other, from one liaison to the other. This is the motto that drives us. This is our driving force, and this is why we're still here. What I've learned by LLL in the 15 years I've been working with them, to listen to myself, to devote myself to my family, to build relationships with my students. It started as a creative thing for me, process for me, but it turned to be companionship. It filled my life. It became a blessing, and it gave me lots of true friends. Thank you very much for your attention. I know it was very quick. Thank you very much.